And there I was, 22 and alone, broke, bruised, battered, 8,000 miles away from home with only $200 to my name. The rigorous weeks of nonstop travel had physically taken its toll on me, and if you've ever seen those die-hard travelers, then you've probably seen how ginormous these backpacks are. Think massive 100-pound tortoiseshell on a skinny, frail Filipino girl. Yep, that's me. Away from anything even remotely familiar, just me, alone and unafraid as I zoomed down the black paved open road. Engulfed by the lush rolling green hills of northern Thailand with the exhilarating wind whipping through my hair, and I can still feel the vibration of the roughed up and roaring rental scooter shaking my soul back to life. As if the decade of darkness just melted away. As if I could no longer hear those harsh, critical voices torturing me in my head. Well, what if you never amount to anything in life? What if you completely fail at becoming successful? And even worse, what if you never make enough money and stay poor for the rest of your life? These were the incessant fears that gripped my happiness for years. The intense pressure to succeed, to become rich and successful. Now, we all know these aspirations are not a bad thing, but it can sure feel like hell when you don't believe in yourself. And when it came to money, it just felt unattainable. Like a dark cloud over my head. No joke, I used to literally cuss out money like it was an ex-boyfriend. It went something like this. Screw you, money. Why am I so obsessed with you? Why can't you just stay? It's no secret that a lot of us worry about money. In fact, a recent study released by the American Psychological Association reported that 65% of Americans experience daily stress around money. Maybe you're a part of the statistic. I know I was. But that day in Thailand was just different. I could finally feel that zest for life rushing back into my bones, a feeling I once thought would never return. You see, there was a much softer and soothing voice with me on the scooter that day. And my journey would soon reveal that this voice would be my guide for years to come. I leaned forward in my seat, defying gravity with the readiness to listen. The voice whispered, "Laura, follow your happy. Understand that this is the foundation to wealth." Wealth. Now, why did I think of wealth? At the time, I was literally the farthest person away from financial wealth. Here I was, a broke college student in Timbuktu, yet I was experiencing the most profound wealth of happiness that I'd ever felt. From that day forward, gone was my perceived notion that being wealthy just means having money. It's so much more. However, it wasn't always this way. Truth is, I came from a privileged background, but my mistrust with money was debilitating. I didn't realize it at the time, but at a young age, I equated money as a source of conflict and unhappiness. I watched my dad pursue his career as a lawyer, and while that filled his bank account, it appeared to leave him emotionally bankrupt and unhappy. Let me be honest with you. As that wide-eyed, 10-year-old little girl, I was scared. I remember the garage door just slowly creaking open when he would come home. It would send my heart racing. I just didn't know what mood would walk through that door. After finally gaining the courage to quietly tiptoe downstairs, I would see the mountains of papers stacked right next to him on his desk. And he would stare at these papers as if they were eating his soul. And it broke my heart. I didn't know what time he'd be done with work that night, but I did know that I didn't want to end up this way. So how do you think this continued to play out in my life? Well, I was terrified to make money for most of my 20s. I thought the high-paying jobs would make me miserable. I thought the dead-end jobs would keep me safe. I thought all of this would help me avoid pain. But in reality, it was these avoidant behaviors around money that were keeping me even more financially broke. Truth is, we don't really get to choose our money story when we're younger. Our upbringing, social and cultural factors, they all influence us, even at the unconscious level. It took me a while to realize this, but it wasn't money that was the problem. It was my relationship with money that was the issue. And being broke did not mean I was broken. It meant I was solely responsible for being the hero of my own wealth journey, just like all of us are. So in 2012, that day on the scooter, everything changed. I got tired of the pity party. I committed myself to the inner work, took bolder actions, pursued my career as an entrepreneur, and finally gained the courage to see that I did want more, and on my own terms. So I got more curious and actually researched the root of the word wealth. The Oxford Dictionary defines wealth as a state of being rich through material prosperity. No surprise there, right? That's a definition we all know and love. What really blew my mind was what I read after. Did you know that wealth actually derives from the Old English word weal, W-E-A-L, and weal means well-being, a sound, healthy, or prosperous state of a collective or individual. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that this definition of wealth, the one I resonated with most, was deemed as archaic, as obsolete, as if it were a freaking extinct dinosaur. This definition dates back until the 12th century. So, when did this secret transition happen? To be honest, we don't really know when this transition happened, but we do know how it's impacted the way we view wealth today. In a recent financial study, 42% of American adults reported that money negatively impacts their mental health. I was 100% there. Some days it was hard to even get out of bed. I was like, if I'm not making X in my bank account, then I'm worthless, right? And it's the reason why so many people feel discouraged when it comes to their finances. It's the reason why so many people don't make the necessary changes to improve their situation. We see people just settle and sometimes take what they can get instead of going after what they truly want. Let them do that, not you. You deserve more. We all deserve more. Now, I'm not glorifying financial poverty by any means. Of course, it's important to make money. Of course, it's important for us to thrive in our careers. And what's more important is seeing the value of ourselves before we allow money to define the worth of us. One of my heroes, Jim Rohn, says it best: understanding self-worth is the beginning of progress. So what if we all approached wealth creation from a more holistic and empowering perspective? One that encourages the happiest versions of ourselves. Because a happier you is a wealthier you. Imagine having a wealthier connection with yourself, with money, and with others. Imagine how it would have helped that scared 10-year-old version of me. Imagine how it would have helped all of us at a younger age, right? So 10 years ago, I applied this empowering concept of wealth into my own life, and since then, it's been the greatest joy to help thousands of others become the heroes of their own money story, falling more in love with their unique visions and who they truly are by cultivating deeper and more meaningful forms of wealth. Join me on this journey. So let's have some fun with this. Are you up for it? All right, let's go. Imagine everything you know about wealth. Whatever you think about wealth, just go ahead, lay it all out on the table in front of you. Now imagine if money wasn't the only part of the equation. What would make you feel even more wealthy? Go ahead, just fill in what feels good to your core. Fill in what makes you feel alive. Notice how different that feels now. Understand whatever came up for you is absolutely perfect because it's perfectly you. This is your unique definition of wealth. As for me, I value freedom, love, impact, and expansion. My version of wealth is a world where financial, physical, mental, and emotional well-being all coexist and co-thrive. And maybe you share that vision of, so heck yeah. And when we decide to live in full alignment with our version of wealth, that's when the magic happens. That's when we experience the joys of wealth that money cannot buy. Here are 3 key shifts you can instantly make today to achieve wealth on your own terms. 1, put yourself first. I said it, put yourself first. Let's be honest, a lot of us have gotten really good at putting ourselves and our needs on the back burner. I mean, we don't want to come off too selfish, do we? Understand that a happier you makes you a better mother, father, professional, CEO, partner. If you've ever been on an airplane, then you've probably heard the safety demo over the PA, right? You know, put your own oxygen mask on first before you safely assist others. How is life any different? Let's not hold back. Make more time for yourself. Pursue those larger-than-life goals. Remember, just like I said, a happier you makes you a better whatever you are and whatever you aspire to be. Put your own oxygen mask on first. 2, money is your ally and not your enemy. Listen, I get it. It can be easy to blame money for our stress, especially when we feel like we don't have enough to pay our bills, we can never get ahead, we can't provide for our loved ones. Remember, we're not perfect. We're all a work in progress. If you're not where you thought you should be right now or where you want to be, it's okay. It didn't happen overnight for me or anyone else either. If something isn't working out, we can change it. We have the power to choose a more trusting and abundant relationship with money and ourselves. Once we start seeing money as our friend, we align our actions with our desires. You see, the more money we make, the more we can give. Supporting causes we love. Doing more of the things that give us joy. Money is an amplifier. 3, you succeed on your own timeline. This mindset shift alone saved me from years of eating myself alive with comparison. I realized that I'm not a Jones, and that keeping up with the Jones was not healthy for me. And do I look like a Jones to you? I'm different. Just like all of you are different in your own unique way. Let's own it. That's why it's important to celebrate every step you take, no matter how large or small, because lifelong growth is worth it. Time becomes less irrelevant when you're playing for the long game and enjoying the full journey, especially when it comes to your career and especially when it comes to your wealth journey. So I challenge you, no matter how large or small your bank account is, to proudly pursue your unique definition of wealth and on your own terms. It's time to finally live like money isn't the only part of the equation, because the real measure of wealth is how much we'd be worth if we lost all our money. Thank goodness I shed that 100-pound backpack of doubt and criticism and followed that whisper instead. If I didn't, I couldn't imagine standing here on the stage as a successful entrepreneur, a self-made woman, and a fierce female leader of impact. Now I get to experience a wealth of joy by giving more and helping others pursue their own personal and financial freedoms. So go ahead. Listen to your voice. Amplify that whisper into a rampant roar. And I promise you, that roar will lead you towards your richest adventures yet. Thank you.